Welcome back, everybody, to Adobe Live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, time appropriate salutations to all of our wonderful friends in the chat. My name is Voodoo Val, and I'm going to be hosting this epic segment with my new friend, Fabiola. Fabiola, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I love the energy. How are you?
Yes. Everyone in the chat, comment how you're doing.
Yeah. Let us know how you folks are doing. Let us know where you folks are from. Where are you tuning in from, Fabiola, if I can ask?
I'm coming live to you from Philly.
From Philly?
Like momentarily blanked.
West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where she spent most of her days.
That's what they say, but I'm a new Philadelphian. I'm in South Philadelphia, but you know, it's cute out here.
So not so much Fresh Prince, but close enough in our hearts.
Yeah,
I think
we can pretend.
Yes. But yeah, welcome everybody. I see Jack Watson in the chat, Umacorn, Haley, Steve, Cody, Adnan, Matthew. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Quick housekeeping notes real quick before we dive into what we've got planned for today. If you folks are over on the YouTube channel and you're wondering who the heck are we greeting, where are all these names you are reading, it is because I am reading the Behance chat. That is where you can come over and post your questions and comments and chit chat with the community. That's where all of the questions that I can forward to Fabiola are going to be taken from. So please come over, please join us. We will have a moderator place a link in the chat over there for you. If you maybe have never been to Behance, welcome. So yeah, please come over. And also don't forget, folks, we've got a brand new Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge kind of kicking off with Andrew Huckrattle this week. So definitely check that out. Pretty nifty. In fact, check out all of our challenges. We've got challenges for XD, Illustrator, Photoshop, all that good stuff. We'll get some links for you in the chat. But yeah, without further ado, why don't you tell us a little bit about you, Fabiola?
Hi, everyone.
What are you working on today, and what is your favorite flavor of ice cream? That is what we need to know. Those are my favorite.
My favorite flavor is this Ben & Jerry's 7-layer vegan ice cream. It's hard to find. It's rare. Honestly, if you find it, you have to DM me, tell me where you're finding it because
she'll be there.
I will import that. But my name is Fabiola. I am an illustrator, artist, video editor in Philly. I make videos all about art, illustration, kind of like my career in illustration. And yeah, here is my Instagram, which has like kind of the most up-to-date stuff. I recently started a podcast, so you know, my whole Instagram is kind of focused on that right now, but I create illustrations for every single podcast episode and guest. And the podcast is about Latinx artists and designers, and I interview them and I create these portraits for each one. But yeah, this is my work. Sometimes I do comics. Sometimes I just do some drawings.
Oh, I love it.
Another piece I did. Oops, I'm not logged in. For Eater. Yeah, so I like to draw girls. I like to make vlogs. And today we're making a studio vlog. So if you're not familiar with studio vlogs, even though I'm sure that you are, studio vlogs are mostly regular vlogs, except they revolve around artist studios. And since I'm an illustrator, I'll be sharing kind of like a week in the life as an illustrator in my little studio, which is in my home, but you know, it's still my studio.
Yeah.
And so I'll just walk you through kind of the week. It'll be a vlog in that sense. But the cool thing with studio vlogs is since they cover the creative process, you kind of want to make them a little more creative, a little more fun, put your like artistic touch on the video. So we'll be covering editing the vlog, kind of laying it all out, but we'll also be doing how to draw on your video, how to kind of customize some backgrounds that you can make if you're an artist using Adobe Fresco. So yeah, that's what we're up to today. That's what I love to make.
I am so pumped for this.
I
think this is
aggressive.
Like, I know Instagram is like, log in, Fabiola, log in right now. You're like, listen, no. I'm super excited for this. I have seen studio vlogs before, but I've never really like had a kind of a dive in deep kind of stream like this, I think, to really kind of see the behind the scenes and take a look at it. So this is going to be cool. And also I think you and I both, we do a little bit of video editing and illustrating. So this is going to be maybe kind of cool to give even me some ideas for how I can customize some of my videos and things. And I'm excited to see how you do it. So what's first? What is your first step?
So the absolute first step is to set up your project. So vlogs are really tough sometimes because there's so much footage, and that's like kind of the most intimidating part when you're first starting out, is sorting all of that footage. So I just want to quickly run you through like a project file, and this is how I organize it. I have project folder, which is where I house the actual Premiere file. Then I've got a footage folder broken down by the sources. Audio, so I usually have music there. If I have any voiceovers, I would put them in there. Graphics, which we'll be talking about further soon, stills, exports, and everything else. And so go to get started on a project. I have this template. I kind of just duplicate it every time, so I don't have to like start assembling and organizing from scratch. And so then once we open up the project, it looks like this, and I import all of those little folders right here.
Nice.
I just drag and drop them. Now, I've already done it just to save us time on the stream with it importing, but this is a really good way. If you get organized in Finder, then you'll be organized in Premiere. And if you don't get organized in Finder, then your Premiere project like will eventually be unlinked somehow. You'll like move something and it'll never function ever again. You have to go back and find the footage. Just avoid the hassle. Go ahead and start from the beginning. At least attempt to be organized now. So as it gets disorganized, it's not as chaotic. But if you start in chaos, it's almost impossible.
Organizing is like being kind to the you of the future. Think of you in the future and do it.
Yes. So that being said, I have all of the footage that you see here already in here, and I've gone further. I'm going to open up this window just so you can see. And organize the so I shoot on a Canon M50. This is just like my everyday camera. It's pretty popular, so it's great. I love it. I sorted it into days because even though I can see the day that it was shot somewhere. Now I'm not seeing it here, but I think I see it in Finder, and it's organized also by the name of the file. For me personally, it gets really chaotic to have to like remember which day was which. And the whole point of the studio vlog, at least my studio vlogs, they're chronological so that you can see the reality of what it's like in my little world. Some days are really productive and some days aren't. And I could edit it to look really productive, but I prefer my edits to be a realistic take on the week. I think people like to see like the authenticity of a week. So anyway, I broke it down.
By the way, I think that's great.
Because I could make it look crazy, like busier, busier. But the reality is like a week, some days are really busy and some days, maybe I watched Gilmore Girls most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sometimes you're like, you're kind of crunching on time and you're putting a lot of effort into projects and stuff. And sometimes you wake up and you know what? Sometimes I'm just like, what's new on Netflix?
Yes, or I'm working while watching TV, and then that doesn't make for the best vlog, but it's the reality of the situation. So once I have it all organized by day, now I know, and I go ahead and organize all maybe I shot B-roll on my iPhone, or I have B-roll somewhere else. Sometimes I like to shoot, this is like voiceover to the camera type of thing. So I have that all in here. Then it's time. My favorite way to start is to edit the intro. It like gets me excited for editing the bulk of the video when I do a fun intro. And for me, the way I like to do a studio vlog intro is to have little clips that kind of show you like a preview of the week, and then have some jazzy music, some cute music. So we're going to get started on that. So
it's like a little trailer, basically.
Yes,
to show you what you're in for.
I like to start with a little trailer. So what we're going to do, I have one made, but I'm going to recreate it for you so we can see it in real time.
I don't know if this is a Gilmore Girls reference because I don't know anything about Gilmore Girls, but our moderator Wade says he's a total Lorelai. Does that mean anything to
Ooh. Yeah, a little chaotic, ambitious,
Okay.
hates authority, that kind of
Okay.
thing.
All
Um,
right.
I got into Gilmore Girls really late. I actually got into it like once it was on Netflix because there was 9 seasons.
Oh, okay.
So I was
Gotcha.
like,
Honestly, it's best to get into a show when there's 9 seasons because then you have a lot of stuff to watch all at once while you're working, that's kind of a blessing. But yeah, so one of the questions that I kind of have for you, because you're doing these vlogs that are like kind of a peek into your entire work week. So just out of curiosity about how many hours of footage do you usually end up with at the end of a week like this where you're going to do a vlog? Like, is your camera running the whole time or how does that work?
I mean, it's probably doing at least 2 hours a day just because if I'm drawing, it's likely an hour of drawing. And even though that gets sped up or cut up, I need to capture all of it just in case. I don't want to miss the one time I have a genius moment.
Yeah.
We're rolling the whole time. And so I tend to like kind of empty my memory card in between like every two. I mean, I have a really big memory card but still like I don't want to run out of memory because I'm shooting a lot. And that's why I try and keep it all on my camera. But sometimes I go to my phone, because you're out or whatever. And then it gets crazy trying to source kind of where all the footage is. But yeah, that's a really big part of vlogging, I think, is like getting used to having your camera. I would say I'm still not completely used to it, but I try and have like setups for my camera where I know like, okay, I'm going to draw anyway. Let me just like put my camera up top or put it here on the side. Like if I have the tripods already set up, I'm more likely to vlog. So I would say like, if you're not sure how much to shoot, just shoot as much as you can. Just put the tripods up, put your camera up. Worst case, you delete the footage.
So that makes sense to me why you are like such an organized person as far as the files of your projects. You got a lot of stuff to deal with, and it sounds like you organize your space even like as far as the tripods in a way that like gives you very little reason to not make content.
I gotta make the barrier to entry to content creation as I gotta lower that bar. So yeah.
Gotcha. That's actually a really great idea though, just to kind of organize your space to make it a place where you can't not make something. That's awesome.
Yeah. Like I have a little kind of desk tripod even for my phone, just that way, worst case, I really don't feel like maybe my camera's not charged or something. My phone's always charged. I'll use my phone. You just don't want to miss stuff.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Even if it's like not as great of quality, your subscribers, they don't care that much. They rather you post a video that's low quality than no video at all.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah, actually that's a great point, because when I think about the people that I love that I'm subscribed to, when they don't post anything, I'm kind of bummed out. But when they post something, even if it's like a minute and a half, I'm just like, ooh, new stuff. It doesn't matter. So
way better.
You're totally right.
Okay, so I want to introduce you guys quickly to my sorting workspace.
All right.
There's a million ways to do this. This is just my way to do it. Okay. Like maybe you have a better way. Let me know in the comments. We're doing it like this today though. So like I was saying, I have a lot of footage from different days, but I want to create that intro, that like preview trailer intro. So I have a bin here that's just called my intro bin. It's kind of next to all of the, I'm like touching my computer. That's next to all of the footage files. And so it's right here. So imagine this was empty. That's how it usually is. But I preloaded it, I was making sure everything was running smoothly. So what I do is I take like, oh, I really like this clip. I really like this clip. I copy it. And then let's do this one. I don't think it's in there. So copy, and then I come here and I paste it. Very bare bones. But the cool thing is like, if I did it from here, I would have to set in and out points, and that would kind of affect the in and out points for the whole project. I just want to do it really small in and out points for the trailer. And that's why I want kind of like a separate file. So I can do that just for the trailer, and it's not going to affect the rest of the in and out points when I want to use this clip in the main timeline.
Okay. All right.
So that's why I do that. And so once I have selected like all of the clips that I think are good enough for a trailer, and I would just say like for a trailer, you want to have maybe something setting a couple clips setting the scene, maybe some of you working, maybe if you in your space, because you also want to incorporate a little bit of your life, because that's kind of what makes the vlog a little bit more fun, is people start getting a sneak peek of your overall life and how it fits into your work, you know? So I incorporate, and you can see that here, like I have a couple clips of me outside walking my dog. I have a couple clips of me eating and having tea and all that kind of cute stuff, cozy stuff. Then I have some top down work ones. I thought I had a second one here. Yeah, 2 here. And then I have like some full shots. So you kind of want to mix it up. And by doing it like this and sorting like this, as opposed to sorting when you see all of the bins, it's like much easier in my opinion. Even if you had like all of the thumbnails, like it's just a little bit more chaotic. So I like doing it this way. So once I have these all set, I go through and I mark in and out points just by scrubbing through like this. It's an unpleasant sound, but so I just say, okay, that's good. And I just set the in and out point by hovering and clicking I for in and then O for out.
Okay, so good shortcuts for you folks to make note of.
And you only want to select, because again, this is like a trailer, you only want to select like 10 seconds. So you want them to be kind of short. So I tend to just go through and think, okay, that part looks good. Maybe right here, in, out. And then this was just like a B-roll. The audio of the clips isn't always the best.
It's actually really funny though that it's like you have all these little TVs in a box and you're just like scrolling through and scrubbing and playing through all of them one at a time.
So I'm like, okay, that's the little action shot of the coffee. Lovely. Wow. Art.
Chef's kiss.
Here,
we got a comment from Jane real quick. Jane says, sometimes I think I'd like to make a studio vlog. It would be nice practice for video filming and editing, but then I'd have to get dressed and put on my face. I know that feeling where you're like, I'm gonna have to be presentable to do this, but I think maybe we can kind of take a chapter out of Fabiola's book though, where having everything else in your space set up to create content would leave only getting ready to be on camera, you know, the only thing that's kind of the obstacle, because then everything else is set and you might be more inclined, you know, to put your face on and sit in front of the camera if there's no other work to be done other than that, and then you just sit down and make the content.
Yes, I would say that's one of the reasons why it's best to have kind of your space set up, so you really just have to walk in and get started. But I have those days too, especially with vlogs. Like there's a lot, if you have to film every day, you have to look like presentable every day, and the reality is like sometimes I just draw in my pajamas, you know. And I think a lot of it is you have to, like this video here, I look a little crazy, and that's fine. I look a little nuts. It's okay. And I think over time, you kind of like lower your own definition of presentable as you get practice. But another really cool thing is if you do like top down, like these moments here, like top down working, you don't actually show your face. And that's okay. You can do that. You can just record yourself working without recording your face, and maybe come in later with voiceover, or come in later, which I'm going to show you guys, you know, as we do day 1 and day 2, but come in with voiceover and record yourself presentable doing the voiceover, and have yourself come in like picture in picture style. So, you know, record first. How you're going to fix the footage, kind of worry about that later.
that's a great idea. You know, there are other methods of doing things, and honestly, maybe it's good, like you said, like I look a little crazy here, but maybe that's great, you know, just to also show the community and, you know, other creatives in general that like us folks who are doing this professionally, we're not perfect every single time we do a project. We don't get everything right the first time. And sometimes I look like a hot mess, y'all. So I do, that's just a reality of being a human being. So maybe it's great to have some shots sometimes where your hair is a little wild and, you don't have like perfectly fleeky eyebrows, who cares? Show a little bit of that honesty,
I think you'll notice that a lot of your favorite vloggers or even like art vloggers, they have days where they're looking like camera ready and then, they just woke up and it's not a big deal. You don't, as a viewer, do you hate them for it? No. So why put that pressure on yourself to be like super camera ready? I mean, it's nice. It's nice when I'm camera ready, but like I'm not there mentally every day. So it's okay. Just like slowly have to get comfortable with yourself more and more with the vlog making.
Yeah, 100%. So what are we doing now? So you're kind of, you said you're kind of coming through and you're making the trailer, but I see you working with some audio there. Yes. Is that audio? So what are we doing with that?
So here's what we're doing. We're going to start a new, I'm going to duplicate this one here. Just intro new, because I'm going to remake it for you, but here we go. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the music. So this is up to you, right? What kind of music you want to use for your studio vlog. The common thing, okay, the normal thing is to use kind of like a jazzy, like lo-fi, kind of study beats type of thing. Yeah. So I picked out 4, but this is the one I want to work with.
Ooh, I love it. It's funny how the I guess the acceptable like trending audio to use for video like this has kind of changed, but I feel like right now what we've got is the kind of audio that is expected to be in the video of this finally aligns with stuff I would actually listen to on my own. And that makes me so happy.
Nice. Like I put this kind of stuff on when I'm working. So this is what I want to show. It's either this or true crime podcast. And it's like, the true crime podcast is not like the best intro music.
I'm also a true crime buff, so this is great.
Yeah. Okay, so all I'm going to do is drag it over to my timeline, and I have some markers already made here, but let me clear all markers. Okay. So this is what it would be like if you started. So what I do is you have to pretend you're a DJ. Okay. And what we're going to do is mark the beat of the music. And I always get really nervous at this part because I'm like, I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to mess up the beat of the music, but it's your timeline. So it's not a big deal. So the most important thing to note here is you can't have the track selected. Like if I were to do this and then mark the markers with the M key on your keyboard, you're going to place markers on this track. You don't want to place markers specifically on this track. You want to place markers on the whole kind of sequence. So don't have that selected. You want to select just the sequence. Then we're going to press space bar for it to play. And we're going to start clicking M on the beat to set markers. Okay. I'm going to do this briefly. Okay, let's go.
Go for it.
Oh, I lost it completely. Guys, I think I did it wrong. I want to redo that. Hold on. Right click.
No, this is actually really amazing. Like, and it might take you a few times, to kind of do this, but this is a really quick way to mark that. This is great.
Yes. It takes me usually like, let's listen and then we'll go through and do the markers. I just haven't listened to it in a second. I want the slower beat. Okay. So that's about it. So we're going to go make sure it's not clicked.
And in the meantime, we get to listen to good tunes.
Okay, that's about it. And you also want to hit that first marker in the beginning. So I just added that. Okay, so once you have your markers selected, we're going to go back to our intro folder, which had all the intro clips. And these are all marked. They all have their in and out points marked already. We just quickly did that. Like while we were talking earlier, I quickly went in and adjusted those. So now what we're going to do is press command. I think it's command. Yeah. to select multiple clips at once. And you want to select them in the order that you want them to appear on your timeline. So keep that in mind. So I usually start with something like I'm setting the scene. Actually, I want to do this one, then my dog, then not the coffee. I want to do pouring the coffee, then the coffee, drinking the coffee, pastry, working, maybe more of this, working again, and this one. Okay, I think that's enough clips.
Awesome. So you said that when you go through there, you're selecting what you want and you're clicking them in order that you want them to appear. So then I imagine when you throw them over there, it'll all be kind of lined up the way you wanted it.
Yes. So once you have them selected, you go to clip, automate to sequence, and you really want to look at these settings. So if this is the first time that you're doing this, it might not look like this. Mine are set like this because this is how I always use it. But what you want to do is select order to selection order. That's the order that you selected them. Okay. Then placement, you want at numbered markers. If you do sequentially, it's just going to put them in the sequence. It's going to not pay attention to your markers. And we really want the markers because the markers are to the beat.
Oh, so it's going to put it right there where you marked everything to, like, according to the song. This is cool. Nice.
And then we're going to say, overwrite edit because you want it to go above the music using your in and out ranges. So not just using frames per still. And I don't have transitions on, and I have ignore audio because I don't want the audio from these clips. If you did want the audios from those clips, let's say you wanted them and you're just going to like lower the audio to that track, you could do that. But me, I'm ignoring the audio. So I press OK and boom, they're in there according to that. So there's 2 markers I didn't use. It's fine. I'm not sweating it. I could go back and do it again. Maybe I will, but let's see how this turns out.
Okay.
So let's play it back. All right.
That is so cool.
So that's a fast trailer. And now I will say, when you're picking your song, if you pick a song that has a fast beat, you're going to need a lot of clips. So keep that in mind when you're selecting your song. You want something a little slower, so you have longer clips as opposed to like spazzy, clips. But I really like how this turned out.
That is like so quick and awesome to do it this way, though, because I've done a video very similar to this with clips and stuff, and I went in and manually was taking a stamp where the beat happens as far as like the actual timestamp of the song and clipping clips. This is amazing. This is great.
Yes. So like if you have an excellent ear, you'll be able to get that beat down and those markers down perfectly. Me, I don't know. It's like some days I can really tell, some days I can't. So, but I don't put that pressure on myself. I still think it like moves raw. And
I thought it was good.
It's fast. Something that could happen. Let me see if I can just set the scenario up first. So we're going to delete these clips. I know all our hard work gone. Okay.
Ruined.
I ruined it. So if I set like an in and out point to be like extremely short, let's try this one. I'm going to set the in and out point to be
like shorter than the distance between 2 markers.
Yeah. If I make it, what is this? What happened to this clip? Here we go. What? I'm confused. Oh, sorry guys. Pay attention. Okay. So if I make this like super tiny, make it real small. Okay. Now I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to command click around to where I think makes sense for a good order. Work, zoom out. Okay. We'll pretend that's good. Automate to sequence. The settings stay the same. Oops, I wasn't at the beginning. So see these things. That's why I like to do it twice. So I can show you guys all the different scenarios that can happen. I don't know why I just unselected a bunch of stuff, but we'll select again.
Okay. Where's our, I liked our theme music before. Boom, work. Yeah.
Yes. Automate the sequence. Boom. Boom.
Okay.
Okay, so you'll see here, if I zoom in, do like this.
Oh, okay.
This clip ended up actually being a bit too short, but you can just go in and extend it, and it's fixed, and everything works exactly as you wanted.
And it keeps everything in line after that too, so it doesn't ruin your sequence of markers. It just leaves that little space, which honestly is great, because maybe you extend it, or heck, maybe you want to grab another clip and just drop it in there, and it doesn't ruin where you placed everything else. So that's cool.
So it's really great. I love, this is one of my favorite tools in Premiere Pro, because you can just like quickly put a trailer together. And I think for vlogs, it's a really nice way to kick off a vlog, is to just show like a little preview of everything that's happening.
I agree. Honestly, I'm excited to watch this right now. It seems very cozy, very cool. I'm pumped to kind of see how you work in the studio, you know? So when you are kind of coming up with, going through your week, you're filming and everything, do you keep in mind like the kind of things that you want to show, or do you just show whatever you ended up doing that week? Like, do you plan projects specifically to have featured in these videos, or you just kind of show whatever?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like if I know that on one day I really don't have much to do, I think, and I haven't drawn a lot because I've been working on my iPad more, and I haven't sketched traditionally. I might say, okay, maybe on Tuesday we'll do some sketching, so we have some of that footage to capture. But I don't let it like dominate my day. It's more so like, okay, you can fit this in, it would be good to capture, but it's not make or break kind of thing. So it's a little bit of both, like my own week as according to what I have to get done, plus like maybe jazzing it up a little bit for the footage if I think I need a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that. But I would just say, like, don't, when you're just first starting out, this is like a message to me, because these vlogs are new to me, is like, don't be so precious about it. Like whatever you capture will probably turn out into a fine video. Like if you can get it to be super versatile and show like all these different aspects of yourself and your work, wonderful. But if it's that week, it just happens to be that you're only working on your iPad, or you're only doing sketches or something, that's okay.
Yeah, I think what I hope is a lot of the folks that are watching here today, if they take away things, one of the things I hope that they leave the stream with is that your expectations and like the goals that you set for yourself, I think, are very different than what people actually expect from you and your content. People who are enjoying or maybe looking for the kind of content that you're making. I know myself, in the past, I've like overextended trying for extravagance when it comes to making these videos, and you really don't have to like, do backflips trying to get a billion shots that look, super incredible. It just kind of show what you're doing, and if that's what you got, that's what you have. And a little bit of video editing goes a long way to make it look super awesome. So
I mean, some days, like for these coffee shots, for example, usually I like make my coffee when I haven't even I'm still in my pajamas, But this day I was like, you know what, let me at least shower, and then I'll go do that. And that way, also coincidentally, the lighting is better, when I wait a little bit. So they both influence each other, but it's not like all or nothing. Like I don't have to do like, I'm not camera ready. One could say in these, I'm just going to shoot the coffee making because it's fun.
Yeah. Why not? And I noticed you said you're not camera ready, and we see like your chin, so it's just like kind of cool how you did the shot, and it's like you're in the shot. And notice Jane, if she didn't, she wasn't camera ready, but she still had herself in the shot in the way where people don't even care or notice.
Also, like at that point, I'm just a character. I'm just a vehicle for the coffee telling, like the storytelling.
I'm a vehicle for the coffee.
I'm not the main character. The coffee is the main character in that moment. And the coffee is always camera ready.
Love it.
So that's basically it for the little trailer. What I like to do after is add like the cute drawings and stuff, and like a title. So, most people, if you're not an artist, you might just put some text, some like a font, and write, studio vlog or whatever your intro text is. Me, Because I'm such an artist. I'm kidding. I like to handwrite my text, which makes for a lot more work. Mm-hmm. Because you have to like actually draw all the elements, but I think it really adds a personal touch that you can't get. Mm-hmm. You could, if you want, like identify a font that you think makes a lot of sense for your brand, like as an artist, right? If you use like a certain font all the time, it'll work great in your video. Mm-hmm. But I like to draw my videos, even though it's more work. So I want to go ahead and show you guys how I draw using Adobe Fresco these little titles to finish up the intro. And I always work on the intro first because it gets me excited for the rest. The rest is a little bit more just like, structure it out, add a little bit of things here and there. But yeah, I want to show you how I do that on using the iPad.
Okay, so let's maybe switch over to Fresco and check it out, see what we got. I'm excited for this because I think in the last like year, Fresco's become like one of my bread and butter apps, so I love seeing how other people use Fresco, and I love this idea that you are like drawing and making stuff for the video, and I can't wait to see like that process. So this is going to be fun. Also, let us know in the chat if you folks are like kind of dual creatives in that you do video editing and illustration too. I would love to know. I would love to know what you folks are making videos about, what kind of things you like to illustrate, and if any of you have ever actually illustrated graphics for your videos before. Let us know.
Yes. Okay. So welcome to my iPad. Welcome to Adobe Fresco on the iPad. Here you can see first up an embarrassing test I did. But it was all for the sake of making our life easier now.
Hey, so my whole Fresco roll, there's like maybe a smattering of good paintings, and the rest of it is just bizarre, weird sketches and just scribbles that I never finished. Notes. Yeah, notes, exactly.
All right, so we're gonna go hit 1 second. We're gonna go create new, and I work in this 1920 by 1080. So we're gonna hit that. Let me make sure that I have the input settings. I might have turned them off. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to actually turn this background black because a lot of the writing when you're working for video is better in white because it contrasts better with the footage going on in the background. So I'm going to just make this black pixels because we're going to work in Photoshop. And
also, I'm going to go ahead. Jane is saying that she has made stream graphics. Does that count? Yeah, I would say that counts.
Yes, so that totally
live counts. Broadcast, 100%. Also, welcome in, Cornell. It's good to see you. Thanks for popping in.
Yes. Okay, so I have this black background. This is just so that we can see the things that we're drawing. So I'm going to go ahead, and the first thing I want for my intro is for it to say studio vlog. I know, super original. So I just do my handwriting. Ooh, okay. Undo. So it gets a little crazy here because I'm showing the pointers. I feel like my writing's a little off, but not too off. Okay. I'm going to pick a different brush. I have favorites. You can see them here. I use a lot of the Kyle Webster ones.
I do too. And I just found one of the Kyle packs in Fresco that I think is one of my new favorite packs ever. It's the fall 2021 pack. It's got some really, you would have to add it, like if you pick the plus button and follow it, but it has got really great texture brushes that actually do like a smattering of shapes and like charcoaly textures that appear in different colors related to whatever color you have selected.
Ooh, that's cool.
Very neat. So check it out. But I'm a big fan of Fresco brushes. I think they're great. Some of them are buttery, and I just
I use a lot of Kyle's, and then I also use some random ones that I can't even tell you where I even got them from at this point, but they're here. And so I'm going to use this one. So I like to use things that have texture because I think they look cool and compared to the video.
Same.
But you also want to make sure that while it has texture, it's still kind of legible. On the thickness that you like to write. So if you write really chunky letters, then maybe the texture can be a I don't know, I guess more textured, less dense.
Mm-hmm.
But if you write like I do, which is kind of like line work drawings, then you want something that's really dense so that it really stands out. So that's kind of the density that I like. I'm going to make it a little fatter. We're going
Oh,
to
I
go with
love
that.
that. I think
So
charcoal and chalk brushes are like my favorite. It's so satisfying.
they're my favorite in real life. So I
Mm-hmm.
like am so inclined to wait. I don't like how that looks. All right, I'm going to do all caps instead.
Honestly, when I've done a thing like this, I do the same thing where I'm just like undoing till I find one that I
Yeah.
like, and then I will like go in and like resize everything and move individual letters. Like you kind of just have to
Yeah, you have
noodle.
to experiment. I just realized that I was drawing on the black frame because I wasn't paying attention. Black layer.
Oh,
So I went back. Okay. So
that
we're
is
gonna do it like
the
this.
bane of illustrators, I think,
Yeah.
accidentally painting on the background layer. Don't worry.
So I'm redoing it now. I think I like that.
I love that actually.
I
Like
like that enough.
specifically, I love how that U is so cute underneath the T.
Yes. Okay. So now what I do once I have the kind of like the mom layer, let's call it,
Mm-hmm.
I lower the opacity and we're just going to draw that two more times. So we have three total versions of
Mm-hmm.
this studio vlog handwriting. So and I try to copy it, but not identical because you want there when we animate it to
You want a little
have
bit of
some
wiggle
wiggle.
vision. Yeah.
Yes. And now one more time. I'm gonna
Wesley coming into the chat. Welcome in, Wesley. Thank you so much for joining us. Let us know where you're from, what you do. Are you a video editor? Are you an illustrator? Do you do something else? Let us know about you.
Yes. Okay. So I have three created here. So that'll animate nicely. I have to leave this on because otherwise you can't see, but you can see that I have three layers and I'm going to put this opacity back to 100.
Mm-hmm.
So all three are at 100. And I'm going to put these into a folder. So I just click this little three dot thing and then click select layers. It's not there now because I just select multiple and then click the folder.
Cody's a big fan of doing these animated titles. I am too. And I think it's honestly, if you folks in chat are maybe looking to do something special for one of your videos like Fabiola is doing, I think that this is a really great way to kind of dip your toes into adding your own illustration. Even if you're not an illustrator, if you can do something like this where you're redrawing a word every time and you work to make the penmanship neat, I feel like that's, if you're not a painter or an illustrator, it's still a cool way to personalize and give it kind of an illustrative vibe that a
Yes.
lot of you folks could probably do and maybe have fun with, and maybe that opens the gate to more illustration or hand lettering or something.
Yeah, I just think also like this is kind of how I feel like I'm not necessarily the fanciest video editor. Like I'm not doing like crazy transitions, like
Mm-hmm.
in terms of footage. Like I'm not like walking in of a room and then walking out of another room, like the shots that I'm getting are whatever I get.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fun way to kind of make it feel put together, even
Mm-hmm.
though maybe you're not planning a ton of shots yet. And I think like with time, everything about your video editing improves over time. But this is like a quick way to kind of unify it, I think,
Mm-hmm.
with something besides footage.
Yeah, I love it. And I love the loop in your M and Y right there. I think that's really
Oh,
cute. That's
yes.
adorable.
So
I love that it's
now
at the beginning and end too.
so now I'm doing some just like titles for the weekdays.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they're not perfect. They don't need to be perfect. It's just fun. And what else do I want to do? So I have the studio vlog. I have Monday, let's say, because that's when my week is starting. I could do all the days of the week, but I won't bore you guys. Let's do some like decorative things to kind of make it feel cuter. So we'll do, some stars.
Okay.
Stars, stars, stars.
So I notice you've chosen a canvas at like 1080p,
Mm-hmm.
basically resolution, like a screen size. Do you always sort of start with a canvas that's going to be like your video ratio, or do you ever do projects that are like a square or just some other shape and then just import that image in, or is it like easy for you to just kind of visualize the end product when everything is shaped like how it's going to appear in the video?
Yeah, I think I prefer to do it that way because then I can just drop it in and maybe adjust it a little bit. But if I say were to make it like the exact size of this, or like the exact size of maybe like this, if I were to do it like that exact size, it's nice, but I feel like sometimes it imports like big, really big, or like I have to edit it a lot more sometimes, as opposed to when I make it to size, then I just have to like shift it up and down or left and left and right. And it also maintains the, what's it called?
Aspect ratio.
Yeah, like the ratios of everything. So like, for example, if I draw Monday like that with this brush and I drew Studio Vlog with this brush, they're both kind of showing up the same size when I import them, as opposed to if I do them all different sizes, like project, like the canvas of this fresco is all different sizes, then they'll show up a little bit different.
And you kind of have to resize them to match. That's a really great point, specifically with reference to the text, because if your canvas is the same size and your brush is the same size for every little animation that you did, then you don't have to worry about importing a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
That's a great rule of thumb. So that's a cool little pro tip for you guys if you decide that you want to test this out.
It kind of unifies it for you. I think it's the best way to unify all of the elements without having to like then manually match each other. So if you just, this is why I prefer, like, as you're saying now, to work in one Fresco file and kind of load it up with all the graphics for this project, as opposed to building a ton of different Fresco files that kind of over time, as you're working on it, start to look a little different.
Yeah, that's great, because you can also, I mean, when everything's in one space, you can also kind of keep your eye on the ball, so to speak, with being able to just like unhide something from the beginning of the project that you're adding and making sure everything seems consistent. So great tips. We have somebody in chat, Gagan Deep. I hope I said that correctly, but welcome in. Thank you for joining us. I am reading the chat. If you folks have any questions at all for Fabiola, please let me know and I will ask her for you. This is Adobe Fresco for the iPad. This is Adobe's illustration, drawing and painting application. Some of you folks may be familiar with some of the things that we had previously, like Sketch and Draw. Fresco is really great because it kind of combines like pixel brushes and vector brushes. We also have some really excellent fancy live brushes in here that you can do a lot of great stuff with. And now with the latest update, you can actually animate within Fresco, which is really, really cool. I almost brought it up actually for this project, however, but I don't think that you could animate those like the studio vlog and the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday without a background. So you wouldn't be able to get that nice transparency. Would you be interested ever in like animating some cool stuff in Fresco? Is that something that strikes your fancy at all?
Yes. No, I love to do that kind of thing when I'm drawing with, like, when I want to create a GIF for like an editorial illustration. Maybe I have a couple elements that move. It's really fun. And so it's way cooler now that Fresco supports that. So I can just, I don't have to like move into Photoshop and do it there. I can just, the less back and forth, the better. So
you're a Photoshop animator, though.
I do love to animate in Photoshop, but I mean, I use After Effects when I need to do something really silky, but I kind of avoid it because I just prefer Photoshop.
I feel like I just found a design sister. I love animating in Photoshop. I've been animating in Photoshop for so long. People are like, why? And I'm like, because it's great.
I love it, especially because I like to draw kind of, I like when things look a little bit like frame by frame, but if I had to do an Instagram story animation or something, you might want it to look a little silkier. I get why, there's a time and place for After Effects, but for my illustration process, I prefer Photoshop.
Same.
Speaking of which, I think we are done with these little titles. I want to show you now how I move these into Premiere and kind of make it all come together in my project. Okay, so just make sure that all of your stuff is in these folders. Yep, I'm going to show everything. So now it looks crazy, but this is all of the project. And when you're on the iPad, you want to go back and you want to make sure that little spinny sync thing turns into a check mark, which it just did. So we're done here. I'm going to just go back to the desktop.
Yeah, let's switch back over real quick. And I love that you mentioned, just to make sure that little refreshing thing is turning into a check mark. Sometimes I've kind of like moved into desktop too fast. I need to make sure I update so I can go. But once that's done, it's really great that you can kind of just jump into different apps so quickly. Like you've just drawn this and now we can pull it up someplace else. So
you
helpful.
Really want to make sure that little thing is done syncing before you open it, because I've had it happen where I open it ahead of time and now I've created like 2 files and it gets kind of messy. So just
you get like a conflict file and
you get like so just like take a beat, drink some water, slow down, and you'll be okay.
Okay, calm down, Val. You can wait like 2 extra seconds.
So right now I'm going to minimize Premiere and I'm going to open up Photoshop.
Let's do it.
And this is just for a second because we want to open up what we just created in Fresco. So here it is. The magic file that we just made on the iPad is right here. So I'm going to click on it.
Let's see, we got some Cody's saying handwriting your text instead of using a font is a great way to help make it uniquely you too, adds your personal brand. Indeed. She's also saying yay Photoshop timeline frame by frame. So we got some other Photoshop animators in the chat. And then it looks like Cornell's just kind of interested and excited to see how you kind of go about this. Because I think Cornell is not a fan of doing it in After Effects because it's a little too complicated for him, which sometimes
it's like too much for what I'm doing. Like I know that After Effects could do it better.
Yeah.
Much better. But it's like, I'm trying to keep things a little simple. And I feel like this is the simple way to do it. I know that there's a way to take these same files that you're seeing here, put them in After Effects to create like looping graphics that you can then import into Premiere for like ever and eternity. Maybe the next live stream will show that, but not today. So once you have this opened, here's what I did. I hid the background layer because that was just so that we could see what was going on. And now I'm just going to quickly name this file, this little group, Studio Vlog. And I'm going to delete the other ones just momentarily because now I'm going to save this on my computer. I'm going to save it in the project that we're working on. And graphics, animated text. So I have a little place for this. Hold on. I need to move this. Okay. So I'm going to name this Studio Vlog. Oops, that's not how you spell Studio Vlog. And I'm going to save it not to the cloud. I'm just saving it right into my project. Save. Okay. Now I'm going to undo. I'm showing you guys how I honestly do it. Is there a better way? Possibly, but this is how I honestly do it.
No, I've done this before too, because if you delete stuff, you can make a single file for each one and just kind of Control Z, get back.
Get back.
Yeah.
So now I'm deleting everything else. I'm going to do Monday. Save to computer. And we're going to call this Monday. I should have probably numbered them. So I should probably say like 02 Monday so that they load in a little better, but it's okay. And now I'm going to undo one more time. And now I'm going to have this file, which is just the stars. So I'm going to delete the other ones again. We just have the stars. Command Shift S to save on your computer. And now I'm going to call this 03 stars. So there is some organization happening, but pretty basic stuff.
So now we have a separate file for each title that you want with only the files for that title. Awesome.
Yes. And technically you could import the entire project, but I feel like when you do it this way, it stays easier to organize. If you were to import this entire PSD file, then you'd have to separate it again in Premiere. So it's like you either do it now or do it later. It's going to have to get done. And then this is just what I like to do just in case, is I'm going to save all three of them kind of together as, I might have already done this as the studio vlog one, but I'm just going to do it again because I can't remember if I did. So all titles, so I know what happened. Save. Okay, so now we're good. I saved an extra time just in case. Now we're gonna Command quit, get out of Photoshop. Okay, now I'm gonna go back into our Premiere project. Okay, this is where the magic starts to happen.
I'm ready for
it. We're back in our project. I'm going to hit the Finder. I'm going to go to the documents. I'm going to, navigate to where I saved it, which was right in here. And I'm actually going to rename the one here. There we go. So now so these are the three that we just created, separated into PSDs. I am going to open it up in my project window here under animated text. That's where I want to import it. So I'm just going to shift and select those three and drag it into the animated text bin. Then this little thing pops up. We are going to select import as a sequence with those three layers.
So it reads the layers, and it looks like you could hide and unhide layers if there's layers in that PSD that you don't particularly like. Ooh, this is serious magic.
Yes, it's really great. You could, like I said, you could have imported them as one file, but then you'd have to go through and select, and you don't clearly see what is what. I prefer to do that in Photoshop and then import it here. So I'm going to select these top. I can tell that this bottom file right here is just that black file that I must have forgot to delete. So I'm just going to do okay. Same thing here for Monday. You see the 3 pixel layers. We want as a sequence. Okay. As a sequence. Okay. It's importing those files now. So now when we go back to our project, which I'm going to make a little bigger for us, here is the Studio Vlog one, and it's right here. So what we want to do now to get it to wiggle is Command A, or you can just drag all of them. And you want to set the speed and duration. You can play with this. There's not like a hard and fast rule here, but I like to do like 4 or 5 frames. So I basically just shortened all of them so they're all the same size. And then I'm going to try and go a little slow here just in case, because it feels like a lot just happened. We just start stacking them. So what these are just to bring it back for people. This is the first layer of that studio vlog. This is the second time that I wrote it. And this is the third time that I wrote it.
Gotcha.
And by making them all the same length, you keep them even on the timeline, but now we're kind of rotating through all 3. So 1, 2, 3. If I had left it all together, they would just be all stacked on top of each other doing nothing. So by kind of moving them, we rotate through the animation. Now this only animates for no time at all. So we're gonna Command A to select, Command C to copy, or you could right click and copy, and then paste with your marker at the end, with your playhead at the end, and we're pasting. So we're repeating it now.
Okay.
So this feels very manual, but we're lengthening that animation. Yeah. And what I like to do here, once I have a couple of these, I again Command A, select all of them, Command V, paste. Now we have way more of them happening. Oh wait, hold on, didn't happen. Oops, hold on. Command A, copy, Command V. So now we have way more of them coming in.
Nice.
All right, so I like to go maybe, I don't know, just that seems like more than I need, but you know what I'm saying? You want to capture it.
See it. Oh, that's so cute.
So now it's playing here, and you get to, by doing it this way, instead of exporting a GIF from Fresco or exporting a GIF from Photoshop, you can keep that texture.
I love it.
Because it's a PNG sequence. Okay, so we have this. Now we're going to go back to our little timeline with the intro. I feel like I need to. There we go. Okay. So we have that sequence that we just worked on, this one. We're going to grab this sequence and put it on top of this. And now it's in there. And we can shorten it or we can lengthen it. We can make it, as long as we need. You can work with it like a clip now.
Amazing. So everything's still separated in the sequence, and then out here you can just kind of drag it, put it anywhere, and edit it as you please.
Yes.
And that's just
So I'm going to show you how to do that one more time in case that was a little fast and you want to like kind of really get the hang of it.
Okay.
We're going to do it let's try with the stars.
Yay, stars. They're so cute. I'm
excited. Yeah, you double click the sequence. We have these stars. Drag and select all of them. And I'm going to do the speed and duration. I'm just going to do it again. I tend to just do this one and it works out fine for me. Okay. And now we're going to, would the right word be like stagger? Like you want to stagger the clips?
Yeah, I would say, staggering is a pretty good word. That's what comes to my mind. Also, Cody Bear in the chat says, so great. Thank you for these tips. And I couldn't agree with you more, Cody. These are I feel like everything that you have shown today, I have so much more confidence going into making videos for myself now. Like literally, I think after the stream, I'm going to jump in and test some of this stuff for myself, and hopefully it becomes like part of my workflow, because I was doing things the hard way, the long way around, and I feel like these are so quick and so valuable as far as tips go, just to know, because it's going to cut my time in half and also give me more freedom to put a little more creativity into my videos. I'm excited, and I want to know, what are you folks going to be making? Because I know we've got illustrators, I know we got video editors. What are you folks going to be working on next? What is your next project?
Yes, let us know. Okay, so just since the last time we were speaking, I just went ahead and staggered it and multiplied that a couple of times. And then, I just hit save because I like to save every once in a while. Then we go back into the intro. And now I can use this little star sequence. And I have it in here now.
Oh, it looks so cute. It just frames studio perfect.
Yes, we can just, and that's why I like to work with multiple titles in one Fresco file, is because I can see how they're going to maybe layer on top of each other. So it's I feel like more efficient that way. So let's see.
That is adorable.
Let's play that
folks
through.
in chat are saying they cannot wait to make their own videos. Jane is going to be doing a studio vlog. We got her. She's gonna do it. She's gonna do it.
I can't wait to see. Please.
Cornell says he's never used Premiere Pro, but I hope that maybe you'll jump into it and check out some of these awesome pro tricks that we've been shown today. And there's some folks saying that they're going to be coming back and rewatching this video when they get to making videos, because this is the stuff they want to do. So
yes, this is my favorite way to make a little intro and to make it unique and make it your own by using Fresco. Okay, let's go ahead and watch this. See where we're at.
I love that the sparkles come in right when you see Doggo. It's perfect.
All right. So I, might want to just fix a couple things. It seems like one of these star files, I left the opacity down. And I think, let's see if this still works. If I go to right click, edit in Adobe Photoshop.
No way.
Oh, it was not found.
Oh, probably because it's just one layer from that file.
Yeah. So I think if I would have to maybe re-import it. And I'm not going to show you guys how to do that because I feel like I've already shown you how to do it 3 times. So in this one, you would just go back to that file, fix it, and re-import it. And that is just a thing to keep in mind when you're working with these sequences. It imports it as that file is in that moment. So you should triple check the file. We can see here this Monday file. It seems like everything is at 100%.
Yeah.
So it's just a little note.
Cornell says yes, he will be jumping into Premiere, and Jane says that when she does her studio vlog that she will tag us, and I'm excited. Yes, want to see what you come up with.
I 100% want to see what you make. I feel like studio vlogs, people who have been making them for years, they seem so natural, but when you first start, it feels really hard to kind of find your way, and you just have to start.
Just got to go for it. But you've already got people who are waiting for that content for you. So you don't have to make the video and hope that somebody will find it and want to see it. We're already waiting for it.
We're waiting.
We're already pumped. Also, Cornell wants to know what kind of camera you use to record your vlog.
Yes. So I use the Canon M50, which maybe I can get it in the frame here. No, I can't. It's on a tripod right now, so I don't want to take it off. But I use a Canon M50 with a 22 millimeter lens, which, ideally I would have a wider lens instead of the 22 millimeter, but I really like kind of the shallow depth of field it offers and how compact it is for vlogging. But some would argue it's not the best vlogging lens. But, just do what's right for you. I really like it. I like how it captures like just crispiness, but I also have to set it far back when I'm doing talking head videos. So it's, you got to work with it. But I think I love the Canon M50. I'm having a great time with it. I've had it for years now. If you want to look into it, go for it. But also just use what you have when you're starting out. It's not a big deal. Like I was saying earlier, capturing footage and making a vlog is way more important than like perfecting the quality of every little thing.
Yep. And I think there's something very important to be said about doing things the way that bring you joy. Like you're saying, maybe some people don't want to use this camera for this, or choosing your method of creating the animations and stuff. Like there's tons and tons of different ways that you can do things, but I think if you find a way that works for you and that kind of sparks that joy in your process, and that's just how it works, then that's the right way. I think we're in this community where there's so many people doing things and so many people that kind of have an opinion on what you should and should not be doing, what is the way a certain thing should be done. But really, I think if you get the job done and you enjoy that process and it works for you, then that's the right way for you individually.
Exactly. Like I know that there's a way to do things more complex and maybe like finesse them more using After Effects or whatever other tools. But I think this is the way that feels like easy to me. And so that's realistically the way that I'm going to actually end up creating the content and not just sitting with it as a file forever. So this is why I wanted to show it to you guys. The next thing I just wanted to show you real quick is that you can actually add, now that these are sequences in your greater timeline sequence, by these, I mean the text, the little animated text that we did. You can actually add transitions to them. So I like to add like this gradient wipe one. I don't know why it's called that. I mean, it's confusing why it's called that to me, but I love it. It like kind of gradient like animates over the effect, over the sequence. Okay. So I use that. Let's see if you can see the playback. I'm going to drop it on a couple things so we can see it.
Let's see. Sliman or Sliman, I hope I did not ruin the name. Let me know. I'm always eager to learn how to pronounce names too. So if you are so inclined, let us know how to pronounce the name if you can. Says, do you need a camera to work with Adobe Premiere Pro? I don't think so. I think what you need is footage. Yeah. Right. So you could get stock footage. You could, you could use a phone and take footage if you wanted to.
Yeah. However you want to capture footage, you just use Premiere Pro to then edit it together. In this case, into a vlog, but you could edit together whatever you want, whatever type of video you want to make.
He says he's been working with Premiere Pro since 2008 and he never had a camera except a phone camera. I think that is fine. Honestly, I think there's a lot of people that do like whole projects professionally where they're doing it on their iPhone.
Yeah. I wouldn't let that stop you from creating like a finished project.
Yeah, 100%.
I am just gonna, let's try a couple ones here. I'm like selecting a couple different effects so you guys can see. So now that I have the animations in here, the cool thing about putting them in as a sequence instead of like as separate, maybe PNGs or whatever, is now you can apply transitions to them. So I have it here. I muted the audio just so we can focus on the text, but see how it like gradient came in and gradient comes out and then it wipes. So you can do all I made it really fast. Let me see if I just like extend it. So make it really slow. There you go. See, that was like the slowest.
And does that gradient wipe have a little bit of texture in it? Is that?
I think that's what we're seeing. It has like a little bit of like this like watery text, like
that's like cute. That's cute.
Ghost
that works so
fades
good.
in and ghost fades out. So, but yeah, if you were to do a different one like this wipe, then you would see it wiping.
Oh, that's so cool.
So now you have that flexibility to play with effects. And so you're like turning a PNG into like a sequence you can actually work with, like a clip. So this is my favorite way to create handwritten effects. And you can kind of see like how this opens up like a whole new world. Like you can create just like little drawings on top of it. You can doodle on someone's face and place it. You can do text. Like it really opens up. You can doodle anything. It's up to you now what you want to draw. And this little wiggle technique that we showed, like drawing it 3 times, you can apply to anything. Or if you want to get crazy with it, you could animate it like actually moving beyond just those 3 things. So this is also how I like to do like my name and like my Instagram handle and like subscribe and like all of those kind of call to action words that you want to include in your video. You can make them in this in that same Fresco file and separate them out like I showed you in Photoshop, and now have like a ton of assets that make your video unique to you because it's your handwriting and it feels so much more personal that way. But yeah, now it's like it's up to you what you make now that I showed you the way.
and like you said, those call to action things, those are things that can be used at the end of all of your videos, or you could trace your logo and do like, a little one with it where it's your little logo that kind of wiggles around to put at the beginning and end. Like you could make a whole bunch of assets and just have an archive of cool stuff that you can reach for whenever you make a video. It's awesome.
Yes, this is just the beginning. So that is like the studio vlog. I might personally go in and change not right now, like maybe tomorrow when you come back tomorrow to watch the rest of this.
Hey.
I might have changed the brush. I feel like it looks a little chunkier than I would like. It still looks good. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes when you're working in Fresco separate, you don't see like the entire kind of thickness of it. Looks, I mean, I could also just like make it smaller. Like if we click on the studio vlog, it's like it's like its own thing now. So if I click it right here, I can now, play with the scale left and right. Like I was saying, yeah, if I make it smaller, I like how it looks. And now, what's up?
I think a really something that I have done because I saw somebody else do it that made a lot of sense to me is like if you want to be able to like kind of visualize how it would look is take a screenshot of one of your clips and put that as the background in your Fresco file.
Yeah, that's something we totally could have done for sure. Just to like visualize like how thick it is, like the lines are compared to the rest of the footage. For sure, that's a really good tip. And I think a quick way to get a snapshot of your footage. I'm just going to turn this off right now, just in case those out there who might not know. Right here. If you're in the editing view and you click on export frame, wherever you are.
Oh, nice.
You can choose like, let's say JPEG, and you can put it, wherever you want. I'm going to put it here on stills and photos, choose. It'll name it something crazy, but maybe I'll just name it 01. And okay. And now it should appear in there. Yeah, right here.
Nice. There you go.
That's a quick way, because sometimes you might like spend a long time trying to sort through it. If you already have it here pulled up. And that's a cool way to get stills too for your thumbnail. So if you click export frame, or what is it? Shift plus E. Ha! I love when I nail the shortcut, even though sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I'm reading. You could also click import to this project, and then it'll actually import it into the whole project. So you can see it right here if you need to maybe use it for something.
Yeah, I didn't even think that is actually an excellent way to get the thumbnail for your actual YouTube video, like to just snap. That's a great idea. You know, what I was thinking is, depending on what kind of video you're making, like you showed us this awesome trick with kind of making these markers on the beat of your song. If you wanted to have a title on the beat of every song and you needed to quickly export a image of all of those beat changes, all of those scene changes, you could do that super quick and then have a file or a folder full of all of the different things you need to keep in mind when you make a bunch of titles, if you're going to be making like a big pack. So
yeah, there's so many cool little tools in Premiere, and it's just like you have to figure out which are the ones that are most useful for the way you make videos. When I learned about this little export frame from when I took Adobe Creator Camp, they showed us that. I was like, oh, brilliant. I was taking like screenshots. I was just like, okay, screenshot, and then importing it again, but then you don't get like that high resolution file. So this is the best way to do that.
Got a couple of questions here for you. Cornell wants to know, could you tell us what the difference between A-roll and B-roll is?
Yeah, I mean, for me, A-roll is kind of the part of my footage that tells a story. Like really is like the main part of the video, right? Like I can't do without it. And B-roll is the stuff that just complements it and sets a mood, but it's not essential to the storytelling. But it's obviously a part of it. It's going to be better with it. But if you were to cut B-roll, you still have a story. B-roll just adds to it, and it's usually like mood things or setting the scene or like the behind the scenes. But like if you're talking directly to the camera, that's a shot you can't do without. But if it's your hands, like, putting papers to the side to show that you're setting up to draw, that's B-roll, but it's still good to have.
Yeah, 100%. And then Slimon says, I always have a problem with the wideness of the timeline. It's never enough until I can get a new wider monitor. Do you have any tips on how to save more space for the timeline? I think this is like kind of an organization question. And you're all about organization. So how do you kind of save space in your workspace?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of setting your own workspace, right? So like if you find like your monitor is cramped, then I would start closing things. But, when you're editing, I feel like this is the minimum to have open. So in this case, like if this is a layout that you're trying to achieve, maybe I would narrow down this. So this is wider, right? Like now you can, you still just want to be able to see like the titles here. I think there's a way to, you want to make sure it's on the list view. That way you have like the most compact view. And then I would also play with this, because if I pull this all the way to the right, like I am totally zoomed out of my timeline. I have like a bird's eye view of what's going on, almost too much, but like maybe you'll want to work like this instead of working like this big. And then you have to like scroll sideways, which is uncomfortable. So I would just, play with that. And then once you have it in a good place, right? Like, oh, you're like, oh, I finally got it. And, it's actually manageable here. I would set that workspace. So if you go to window and then workspaces, you can do save as a new workspace, and you can do maybe like compact view.
Nice.
Okay. And now it's up there. So no matter if we're here or here, I'm going to like reset this one so that you can see the difference. So this would be the normal view, and this is the compact view.
Nice. And it just has it for you there, and you can always go. That would be cool too. So Simon, if you have like a very small screen, I guess technically you could actually save a workspace where each one of those modules is larger than all the other ones. And you can just, when you need to move and work in a different part of your screen, you could just click it up at the top instead of having to drag and move everything while you're working, if that works for you. So, test out creating some custom workspaces, my friend.
Yeah, I actually want to show you guys. This is the perfect segue to show you guys another workspace, which is the pancake editing workspace. So just to recap, we already finished doing the intro where we did the automate sequence on the beat of our intro song. I'm actually going to cut the song to like right here, let's say. I'm just going to cut it so it's not so long.
Okay.
So I just cut the audio, but anyway, so we just did that. We automated the clips to the sequence. We added our text, our handwritten animated little text squigglies. And now I want to show you how I handle the actual organization of the A roll of basically the part that's kind of boring to edit. Let's be honest. It's kind of boring to edit this like long part. That's why I like to do the fun part in the beginning, get myself hyped up for the actual studio vlog. And now I have to actually go through all the footage. So the way I do this is by going into this pancake workspace that I have set up. Okay, don't be overwhelmed because I just switched to it and it seems like what just happened. I'm gonna actually close a couple panels. Boop. No, close all of them.
It's like, how about another one?
Yeah, it just keeps giving me more. Okay.
And another. Look under your chairs.
Close. Sorry, guys. I thought I had already done that part. Okay. So this is how I like it. I'm actually going to save change to this workspace so that never happens again.
Nice.
So in this workspace, all I did was basically take this, just so like you guys can set it up because it's not a preset one, is I go back into my project. I had an extra sequence. If you don't have an extra sequence, just like create one. And then here's like the one that we've been working on so far. I just take this new sequence. Let's see, let's hope it works. Oh, come on. It usually shows up here, but it's not now. Okay, wait, no, it's because I have to double click it. And then I grab it. There you go. And I put it like right there.
Ooh.
I'm not sure how to describe that. Let's go back. Okay. So you have another sequence. You can make a new sequence by just doing new item sequence.
Okay.
I'm going to move this. I like to stay organized. So I'm going to move it. I'm going to move it here. Okay. So it's this random sequence 4.
Okay.
I closed it just so I can open it. So I double click, you open it. It shows up where you already have it. You want to click and drag. And then all these little windows show up. Okay. You want to put it up here at this top window. And now you have two sequences pancake together. So I'm going to go into the workspace that I already have set up like this, which, hold 1 second. Hold on, my thing's blocking it. Okay. So right there. And so the reason I do this is so I can organize all of the footage, because when you're dealing with a vlog, you have a lot of bulky footage, just like a lot of days and stuff. So what I do is I go into my footage and I am actually going to, so what I do is I usually have this extra sequence that's blank that's called landing pad. And I want to put that here. And I'm going to close this one because this was just, the animation we did. I don't need to work on that. So now I have the intro new at the bottom and this landing pad up top. But I don't want to work on the intro anymore. Really, like the intro is done. So I like to work on a new sequence yet again. And this will be my main sequence. And so I'll put this one down here. I got to click it and put it down here. Okay.
So you like, not only do you have it like a stack of pancakes there where you've got two different windows, but you can also have different sequences lined up next to each other within each of those little pancake areas. So this is awesome.
There's got a lot of layers
blown in the chat, by the way. Like they love this.
Yeah,
they're excited about it
because it's really hard to sort through your footage. And if you had to, like I already organized it into the days, into the bins,
Mhm.
but now I actually want to go through the bulk of it. And the thing is, when you're doing a vlog, you have long clips. If they were just short and snappy, it'd be one thing. You could kind of just do it in your project window and, you know, drag them into your timeline. But I feel like when you're working with so many days, it's better to see it all in a timeline. So what I start doing is kind of with my A roll. This is the primary part of my vlog. I'm going into Monday. I'm clicking the first one, selecting all of those, dragging them into the landing pad. Okay, I actually want to clear the markers in the landing pad too. I think those are left over from something. Ignore that. Okay, so now here I have all of Monday's footage.
Okay.
Great. And I just start, this is kind of the boring stuff, but I want to show you guys what really happens. I right click, label violet. So Monday's violet. Tuesday, right click. Shift, select all of it. And then I just, I shouldn't have done that. I should have moved my playhead. Oop, let's pretend that didn't happen. Okay. Okay, there we go. So now this is Tuesday. And I usually just like go down the list, but iris is that color. So I skip iris, I go to Caribbean. That way it's just easier for me to notice. Wednesday. So on my landing pad, I basically am putting all of the footage in order and color coding it. That's what we do.
Organized.
See, Friday was a productive day.
Wow.
But it's also a lot of footage. And then, yeah. So then I select it all.
Cornell says that he knows nothing about Premiere, so all of this info is a pro tip. But honestly, Cornell, I feel like if you know nothing about Premiere and you're interested in getting into Premiere and doing videos, I feel like this is the best possible stream that you could have watched, because Fabiola has shared some really incredible tips just about getting started, about organizing and making sure that you don't, trip over yourself in the future of your project, kind of getting those things down. You've shared with us, Fabiola, some excellent tips for navigating around just your workspace and everything. You've shared some cool hotkeys and shortcuts with us. Like, this was like a great stream for people who have been using Premiere, but also an excellent stream if you're maybe unsure about dipping your toes in and now you really know how to navigate it and get stuff done quickly. So I'm glad that you were here with us today, Cornell.
Yes, I'm so glad, Cornell. I feel like the biggest thing with Premiere is getting used to the workspaces. Because at first they seem so intimidating, because you're like, there's so many boxes happening and I'm used to not having this many boxes in my life. But the boxes are here to help you. The workspaces are here to help you. And once you get organized and you start setting up workflows in Premiere that work for the type of videos that you make, it is so much easier. And so this is, if you want to start making any kind of vlog, and then in my case, a studio vlog, this is really helpful because you have these videos are just bulky videos. And this is a good way to kind of cut through all that bulk.
Cornell says he absolutely agrees. He's going to be adding this video to his favorites. Umacorn says, yeah, I've never stacked the sequences like this on my timeline before, but sounds like he's excited. And then Slimon says, Fabiola, you are a real pro. Thank you very much. You are very well organized.
Oh,
and I could not agree more.
Thank you so much. I strive for organization. It's like the nerdiest thing, but if you stay organized with your videos, you may actually finish them. When they start getting crazy and then the next day you log in and you're like, what did I do? I don't know where I am. That's when you start, dropping off.
Yeah. Well, you showed us even how to really think about preparing your workspace in general, like before you even touch the program, so that you want to create, so that there's no reason not to make content. Also, I want to let you know that we've got all of our lurkers that have been silently watching kind of chiming in now, saying such a wonderful stream from Felix. Bruce coming in saying agreed, Val. Thank you, Fabiola. I'm on the lurk right now. People chiming in saying yes, very helpful. So I think you've had a bunch of people, like kind of watching in the background and listening, and now everyone's like showing up, showing some love. So thank you all so much.
Yes, if you guys, you lurkers, have questions about workspaces, about workflows, let us know, because I might know something and I don't know that you don't know that you might want it might be useful to you. So ask some questions if you're curious. But I'm going to keep going with this pancake thing. Let me okay, so here's what happened. I inputted all the days, and all the days are now color coded.
Okay.
Some of you who are looking at this are saying, Fabiola, you missed a day. And the truth is, I didn't work on Thursday. The truth is, I didn't record anything on Thursday. But the beauty of a vlog is you just have to show people what happened in the week. They really don't mind if you missed a day. Mm-hmm. You just keep going, you know?
Yeah, do your thing.
It's not a big deal. So that's why you only see, you know, like a certain amount of colors. I can't count 5 colors, 6 colors instead of 7 colors. So now that we have everything color coded, I do this because as we start moving into our main timeline, mm-hmm. it can be confusing if you don't have the days color coded to see like the difference in the chronological order of things.
Somebody asked if you could add custom label colors, or do you just choose what they offer to you in the drop down when you label them?
Right click label. It seems like you just have these colors, and they just label by color.
But there's a lot of them. That's a lot.
There's a lot of colors. I mean, if you wanted to create your own custom colors, I don't know. It could be cool, but I think these colors will do. Okay, so what you start doing now is hold on. I need to move a couple things around. I need to move Zoom around. Okay.
The yawn. I love it.
I'm yawning. Okay. So I'm actually going to mute because a lot of this footage is just like random noise. So what I start doing here, I zoom into a little bit more to see the day, and I say, okay, I think maybe I'm like interested in here. And now I just start cutting, but I start cutting knowing that like, I'm just cutting the clips that I want. So, okay, that's good. So I bring this down. Okay, change sequence. Okay. So now I have this clip in here. And, you know, this goes unaffected. Yes, there's like the cut marks, but I don't really mind that. Mm-hmm. They're just like in and out points, essentially. Mm-hmm. And okay, I think this part's interesting. Okay, so I just start compiling kind of like the footage of what I'm doing. So, So you can also use in and out points, right? Mm-hmm. So like out, which I just hit in and out, but then you still have to kind of cut it, but it helps if you want to just cut it using those little guide marks. Mm-hmm. So maybe some of you looking are thinking, why don't you just mark in and out points before you put it in the landing pad? The reason that we're using the landing pad is to kind of go through all the footage at once, as opposed to going into Monday, clicking Monday, doing in and out. Mm-hmm. And then putting it here. And then maybe I didn't like catch something else that I wanted and marking the in and out points again. It just feels like more clicking to me. So this is just up to preference. I like being able to see it like this, because then when I'm done with it, I can go, oh, actually I needed a little bit more from that clip. Let me go back.
You've basically like laid out a buffet for yourself, and you've got your little tray down there at the bottom, and you can scroll through and take whatever you want whenever you need it, and you can see everything. And I just, this is good. I'll probably do my videos like this every time from now on after watching you do this. I'm serious.
That says a lot. So I am so honored. So yeah, it's just, I feel like it's the best way to see. And you can, since you color coded everything, you know, like, oh, I barely showed anything of Monday, or I barely, because you can see just based on the color. So that's a really fun like thing to do. Way to like easily gauge. You can see Monday was just, you know, I was organizing. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, okay, that's plenty of Monday. Moving on.
Also, I just want to point out, your office desk is my exact office desk, except mine is matte black. We have the same desk. Like, I'm sitting at that desk right now, which I think you're also sitting at that desk right now. We're sitting at the same desk.
I love it. It's a pretty good desk. It's a good size.
Yeah, it is. It's great because I've got my setup, and I have like a whole space over here where I could have a traditional workspace if I wanted to do traditional work and digital work. So
that's how I treat it too. This is my traditional side. And I don't think you guys can see off camera, but I have an arm overhead tripod right
Me
there.
Too. We are two peas in a pod.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So yeah, we just keep doing this. And I really like that as you bring things down, the like landing pad doesn't really get affected. It gets affected by the cuts you make, but like that's not a big deal. And yeah, I can just, I had some tea here. I have to have the tea break in here. Guys, we can't go without.
What's your favorite tea? Do you have like a favorite kind or something you're liking currently? Because I know for me, I could not pick a favorite tea, but I could tell you what I like right now. Like, what do you like now?
Right now, I like Earl Grey. Because it's got that caffeine boost without, making me go nuts. I actually have it right here with a little milk and sugar.
Nice. I think I'm loving. So I love Celestial Seasons. I think it's kind of a must have, like there's super fancy teas and all kinds of crazy stuff that you can do, but Celestial Seasons is always good. And I love Sleepy Time and Tension Tamer. If you've ever tried the Tension Tamer,
it's the one with the big
dragon on the front, and it's like mint without it being like peppermint or tasting like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's amazing and it's super refreshing and I love it, and it's good as a hot or cold tea. So,
oh my gosh, I'm going to have to try that one because I'm almost out of this Earl Grey. And I was just thinking I am almost out also of my decaf.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Get you some Tension Tamer.
I'm ready. Stuff. Thanks for the rec.
You're welcome.
This day is pretty boring, huh? I just I tested out my Ethernet. I mean, it was not the most exciting day, but
setting up your internet connection for an entire digital studio setup is probably the bane of my existence, to be like just like setting up all the cords and doing everything. I love that you've kind of turned it into content here, because I hate doing that so
I think
much.
We just have to be honest, like not every day is like sexy and I'm like creating art. Like some days I am, I'm just setting up, or like I'm prepping something, or I'm getting things organized, or I'm redoing my studio. Like not every day is like the sexy stuff. And I think people like it when you're honest, because if you set the expectation that every day you're like showing in and you're like ready to paint a canvas, that is a lot of pressure you're putting out there for yourself in the future, and like future videos. And also like, I don't know, the expectation is weird.
Yeah. This is the coolest t-shirt I've seen in a long time, by the way. I don't know what it looks like, a spider.
I got it at a thrift store. It's a spider
with a rainbow
on a planet with a rainbow. Yeah.
The spider's got a heart on it. Ooh, I love it. I love that.
Yeah. I got it at a thrift store. I was like, you're coming home with me.
That's great. That's excellent.
Let me know if you guys like that TikTok reference.
You're coming home with me. Felix says chord management blues. Also, we had more people kind of pop out of the shadows, the lurk shadows here. Gareth jumped in saying been lurking. Clever Devlin says was lurking. I am loving this. Jane saying this has been so marvelous. Felix saying such a wonderful stream. Basically everybody, I mentioned lurkers and lurkers were like, huh, who, me? They jumped out.
It's you. We're talking about you. Yeah. Thanks for coming out of the woodwork, guys, and joining us. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream.
We do have about 15 minutes left, I would say, by the way. So I don't want to, we've got some tea questions in the chat asking what we use to sweeten our teas. But after that, I think we're going to get down to design, because I know that you've got some stuff that you really want to show us just before we take off. And I want to make sure you have enough time to do that. But I just use sugar or honey for my tea sweetening.
I just use sugar. I mean, I'm not above some sugar. It's been around for ages. You don't have to hate on it. Just have sugar.
I use sugar or honey. That's my go-to.
No problem.
Also, with the 15 minutes left, if you have any last minute questions that you really want to ask, feel free. This is probably the best time to get your questions in, so we have time to answer them before we have to do our outro and take off. So please post any questions you have. And what do we have planned for that last 15 minutes?
I'm just going to continue showing you guys how I'm editing this stuff. And let's see what else. Yeah, I might show you guys just like a couple minor little things, but right now I'm handling the bulk of this video. Like, for example, this, I'm going to mute it just for our sakes, but this is all upside down, because my camera filmed it that way.
Yeah.
So what I do is I go in right here. I keep having to move the little zoom thing. Okay, effect controls. And we go. So if you don't use Premiere often, it'll look like this. And you're going to be like, I don't know what to do here. So you click motion, position. So you have all this little information.
Oh, nice.
What we want is rotation. And I always forget, but I know what number I need. But 90 will do that. Mm-hmm. 180 will flip it for you. If you're into skateboarding, you probably already knew that. I'm not. So.
If you're a Tony Hawk fan, you probably already got
that. But anyway, okay. So once you have it, this is like the correct side for the video, or the correct position. I don't know what the word is. So you right click and you press copy, and then you select all the other clips that you need to affect change in.
Ooh.
Hover. So I just clicked and dragged, right click, paste attributes.
Yes.
You can select. I didn't do any of these other things. So if I leave it or if I unselect it, nothing will happen. But the one that I did change was in motion. So anyways, you press OK, and then they all changed. So this is,
my gosh,
just if you don't have to do things over and over again. This is a powerful program, you guys.
I have to say, Fabiola, you are like the master and champion of the saying work smart, not hard. And obviously you're working very hard, but I'm serious. Like the level of like pro tip to like improve the quality of work and like cut down on time and keep things organized that we have seen in this stream today has been amazing.
I am so glad it can be helpful to you guys. Here, I'm going to do one more. So what I did here is I zoomed in. So I went from 100% to 120, and then I just moved it. If you just click left or click right, you start dragging these numbers around. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do the same thing, copy. And just to show you guys, like if I select these two clips and click paste attributes, the same thing will happen to these clips. So yeah, don't repeat things that don't need to be repeated. You can just keep working like that. Mm-hmm. And what else did I want to show you? Oh, with our last little bit of time, I just realized we are working in this main sequence. And I think I see some gaps in the timeline that just like from dragging that maybe like got missed. Mm-hmm. So something that's really fun to do is to go into sequence menu and then press close gap. And then all the gaps closed. I mean, we were zoomed out all the way, but here, let me like make an example just so you guys can see. Let me make a mess of this timeline. Say when you brought things down, you weren't exactly sure, right? Mm-hmm. You were like left room in case you wanted to cut it a little shorter, fine tune. Oh my gosh, what is happening to me?
I think they're really small. So
yeah, so they're not
asking, like, are you sure you don't want to drag these and change the duration?
Okay, so I just like made a bunch of spaces. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna, okay. If you go to sequence and then close gap.
You might need us to select them all maybe first.
Yeah, I think you're right. Sequence, close gap.
Boom.
Boom.
Ooh. Do you know how often I ruin my timeline trying to manually close gaps?
It's really bad. I mean, you have to watch out because if you start introducing like a separate audio track, that's maybe when things get a little confusing. Mm-hmm. But when you have clips like this, it should be really easy to keep everything tidy. But it's good to know so that way when you're like working and things get unorganized, you can, and like you just showed us, you have to select. So if I wanted to keep this here and this here, and then I only wanted to like maybe close the gap here, I could do that too. And still have this over here. So it's all, you know, you have choices, you have flexibility. So use it. And let me see. I just realized we don't have the intro sequence in here. So let me show you how I would insert the intro sequence. It may not be that shocking to you guys. I'm just going to grab it and move it and make space for an intro sequence.
Okay.
And I'm going to go back to our project where we have the sequences, which is right here. And I think it was this one that we were working with. It opened it here. I'm gonna move it here so we can see. And I think what I'm gonna do, I think if I remember correctly, hold on. I can nest it all. So I can just select everything. So Command A in my intro sequence, the one right here, the one I'm working with, intro new. And I can say nest.
Does it matter if some of those clips are muted or anything like that? Like when you...
It may matter. Let me unmute. Let's see.
Okay.
Nest. We're going to do intro nest. So we know the name. And then I think I can just bring this here. And now I have it in here, and I'm going to ripple delete. And I think that means I have everything in there. If I
boom,
I mute it all. Yeah, yes. So it ended right here. So like I'm going to have to finesse like the transitions there. But yeah, you can treat the intro as its own thing this way. Or, you know, if you're like, is that necessary? You don't have to. You could just select this whole thing and bring it down here and work that way. That's also going to work fine. See, it's in there. I'm going to just do the close gap thing. And ripple delete. Nice. And there, it's all also in there. So now we have that.
What's the difference between the close gap and ripple delete?
I think you know, I'm not entirely sure. I think with ripple delete, it's only between certain clips.
Like whatever you select, that little space.
Yeah, that little space. Or like, I think it also has to do with the sound. Like if you the audio. So like if you had a lot of audio tracks, you might not be able to close all the gaps, but you could do a ripple delete manually.
Okay.
Something like that. But you know, don't quote me on it. Maybe if you know in the chat, let me know. I just know that I am always trying to get rid of either one of them.
We've got another question in here from Cornell saying, what does the nest do actually? And I could be incorrect about this. This is something that maybe I could be wrong about, but I've always like kind of saw like nested things in Premiere, kind of like smart objects in Photoshop is kind of what it seems like to me.
That's how I view them. There may be another use for them, like pro level, like when you're making really big
but when
video
you nest
files.
Something, you could open it, right? And like look through, and so that's like how I use smart objects in Photoshop to me.
It's like it's like grouping it together and then putting it in your timeline. You can open it and go in and make little adjustments. Sometimes that's really valuable. Sometimes if you want the audio to like transition with the next thing, you might not want that. But like for an intro, like I was doing that little trailer intro, I would totally use that. Make a nested sequence to kind of group it all together and keep it all tight, like its whole little package, as opposed to now, like if I go in here, I have more customization, but maybe things could also kind of get lost and it can get a little crazy. Like if I start grouping more animated text or more effects on top of this, it might just get sloppy. So if you have a nested sequence, you kind of contain it all together.
Nice and
neat. So you don't have a ton of like layers going all the way up on your timeline.
Yeah. So maybe you could do that, to think about that in the context of how you folks in chat might use that. Like maybe you nest the intro, and then maybe after you finish Monday's footage and you're not going to make any changes, nest that, and then just kind of go down the days. And then you have like this super nice, compact little compartmentalized timeline of really organized content, and you can go back and edit if you need. But for the most part, it's all packaged very nicely. It's nested,
Yes.
you might say.
It's nested. I'm just gonna show you guys how I like speed things up when I need to, like, some of this organization footage. I think people really like to see that. Like, it's satisfying to see like makeovers and stuff. Yeah. So I'm just gonna speed it up though, because we don't need that much. And tomorrow, when you tune back in tomorrow, you'll see how I do some voiceovers to make this like otherwise mundane footage a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow. I hope that you all will be there. We've got about 5 minutes until we have to take off. I'm going to scroll through here and make sure I didn't miss any questions. Cornell saying thanks for the explanations. Everybody's pretty pumped about the ripple delete and the close gap, which I think is pretty cool. Yay. And yeah, just overall folks being really stoked about all these pro tips and tricks, and I know I am. When you ungroup the nest, everything stays organized. Yes, Simon.
Yes. If I can show you guys with a little bit of time we have, I'll just make it a nest again. Intro nest. And then I'll plop it in maybe at the end just to show you guys, because we already have it in the beginning.
Okay.
It's in there all neat and tidy. And yeah, if I double click it, I can see it again.
Nice.
See how it opened back up, and then it's just displays.
So it's just opened in its own window there.
Sequence window.
So then you could edit that and then save it and then go back, and it's still nested with those changes.
Yeah, I think so. So like if I made the audio a little bit more simple or clipped it, and it all translates to here. It's telling me like I shortened it, so I gotta.
Nice, very cool.
So it's pretty handy. If you guys have any more questions about organization, get them in right now, because that's what we're talking about. And tomorrow we'll be doing color. I think I'm going to try and show you some motion graphic templates to show you how I jazz things up further, captioning. Basically today was drafting this video, and tomorrow is perfecting this video.
I'm pumped about it. I think it's going to be great, and I'm very interested to see how you do like getting into voiceovers and things, because I think that is actually something that's really not a strong suit for me personally. I feel like I struggle constantly doing voiceovers. So I'm excited just to kind of see how you approach that and get some insight from you. I would love to know what you folks are looking forward to kind of seeing tomorrow. So let us know. And in our last few minutes, where can everybody find you, Fabiola, if they want to get in touch with you or just see a body of your work online? Where would they go for that?
You can find me on Instagram at Fabiolita Draws. That's FABIOLITA Draws.
Awesome.
And that's me all across all of the internet. And yeah, DM me if you have any lingering questions, or leave them also in the chat and we can go over them tomorrow. But yeah, I'm really excited. I love showing you guys these little hacks and kind of taking this mammoth, like vlogs feel like really big undertakings because there's so much footage, and breaking it down into little digestible steps. And I know this part is a little bit more mundane, like just sorting through footage, but it is the majority of it. Video editing is the sorting through footage and putting it on your timeline.
That's fair. Yes. That's basically what we're doing. We got your links to your Instagram and everything in the chat, so everyone please make sure to dive into that. And
this vlog will be live too. Well, not tomorrow, but when we're done. So you can find me on YouTube as well.
Let's see. Monica says voiceover and captions is what she's looking for. Maybe using templates. Felix says, I'm looking forward to what you have to say about Moggerts. Oh, cool. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Talk Moggerts tomorrow. Sliman says, I never saw someone more organized than Fabiola. Well done.
Wow. Somebody
get some love in the chat.
Call my family, let them know.
Yeah.
I want to show you guys real quick too, like just while we're playing here, you can don't forget to add your video transition. So you gotta just go to window effects if you're not seeing that window. Sometimes it like sneaks away from you.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, because you open so many things and then you're like, where did that little window go? So if you go to window effects, if you're not seeing it, you go to video transitions. And I really like this wipe one. And I also really like this iris one. So I'm going to show you iris round. So how I would transition for that. So I usually do this once I have the whole timeline organized, but I'm going to cut into it more, before tomorrow's. But for now, I just want to show you how this works. So I like to put it in between clips.
Okay.
So we just go like this, and then we zoom to the next one.
Oh, nice.
Ideally, I like it between days. And so when you color code, you know which day is which. You don't have to like click around like a maniac. You know which day is which, and you can then it's the next day.
Awesome. And you could have like maybe a title there too, or whatever you feel like. That is awesome. I don't think I've ever used any of those video transitions really, aside from maybe like a dissolve or fade. So
yeah, you can have fun with it. There's definitely some more classic ones, fade to black or whatever. But yeah, it's a fun way to like just experiment with how you compile a little video.
Nice. Well, that is all the time we have for today. Fabiola, it's been an absolute pleasure. You are so awesome, so fun, so knowledgeable, and it's been a really good time just kind of hanging out with you and learning from you. Thank you everybody in the chat for hanging out with us. You guys rock. Please come back tomorrow because we are going to be here for round 2.
Doing the polishing on this video. You want to see that.
I'm excited. I think that it's going to be awesome. It sounds like you have some really great stuff planned, so I'm pumped. But thank you again, everyone. Please stay tuned because there is an XD Daily Creative Challenge coming up after this that you won't want to miss. And we will see you folks tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you again.